Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Yes, the Bearable Guy Castle Riddle, one of the very first riddles that Bearable Guy ever posted on his Reddit forum. He also posted it on Twitter back in 2018. And you know what, guys? I know we've gone over this riddle in the past, but we mainly talked about the context of this riddle 4 years ago. I know I brought it up in videos along the years as Bearable Guy was producing more riddles. However, I thought it was a good time to reintroduce the riddle, and more developments have been occurring. The financial system is changing before our eyes, and the context, the 2018 context of this riddle, I don't think really gave it justice at that time. I don't think we knew enough. And so if we fast forward to 2022, what else can we glean from the original Bearable Guy riddle? First, I wanted to start off by going over a few things that are happening. BondCrypt XRP posted this. The 31st is coming, and that will be tomorrow. Today is March 30th. If you're watching this video the day it comes out. So the 31st is tomorrow, the Thursday, and the last day of business for any banks that are not Basel III compliant. This will probably be the last day of the Federal Reserve too. As I've said before, the Fed was absorbed into the Treasury a year ago. April 1st will be a new beginning. So it's the end of the fiscal year. And if you guys aren't familiar with Basel III, I have done videos on it in the past. I'll see if I can find a more recent one, and I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner for you. The other thing we should note here from Nabucha Nizar here on Twitter, Ripple settlement before or after November 2022. Thoughts? XRP family. He posted this from the Swift webpage. What are the readiness steps for November 2022? Because we know the ISO 20022 standard is going to be fully integrated by many organizations at that point. I believe that's the beginning of the timeline, and it's going to occur throughout the next few years into 2025. Adoption of ISO 20022 has technology and operational impacts with general availability from November 2022. The first key activity is to build internal awareness about the change throughout the various resources Swift makes available, e-learning, webinars, documents, etc. So with regards to the Swift system, that is, their strategy. But I think the more important takeaway here, ISO 20022, what are the stages to be ready in November of 2022? Let's also note this, guys, from the Cryptic Poet just in, Ripple partner Valente and KPMG come together to offer ISO 20022 and real-time payment readiness diagnostics. Now, for those of you guys who do not know this, I did actually just mention this in this morning's video, which I'll link up here if you guys didn't catch. Valente is integrated with FedNow. They have also adopted RippleNet technology, and so here's just a flow chart just to demonstrate how Ripple connectivity does integrate with Valente. But here's the news. Valente and KPMG come together to offer ISO 20022 and real-time payment readiness. The strategic alliance will offer banks a winning combination of cloud-native payment solutions and related advisory, enabling banks to modernize their payment processes and operations faster than ever. As a result, banks and payment service providers can start the real-time payment journey immediately with the clearinghouse, or RTP, and prepare for a new instant payment scheme such as the FedNow service as they become available. More so, financial institutions will be able to modernize their legacy wire and ACH payment systems and strategically position themselves for emerging payment trends such as connected and embedded banking. In addition, they will become ISO 20022 compliant. And so here's a quote: ISO 20022 and RTP represent watershed moments in payments and serve as catalysts for change, with the opportunities for banks to provide a better payment experience and value-added solutions for corporates. While the ISO 20022 compliance deadline may seem far away, and again, it is supposed to be fully implemented in 2025, 2022 is the critical year for banks to ensure they have a clear strategy and plan for ISO 20022 readiness, given the complex legacy IT environments of many banks. Also, with FedNow coming and increasing interest in instant payments in the US, there's a perfect storm brewing for banks to have a comprehensive payment modernization plan for the next 2 to 3 years. We are excited about the opportunity to work with Valente to drive new modernization and innovation to our bank clients, resulting in richer payment experiences and offerings to their customers. So these guys realize, the deadline is coming fast, and a lot of these banks do have to integrate. So there is now a plan for Valente and KPMG. They are coming together to offer this ISO 20022 compatible system, which is in fact Ripple enabled. We know Ripple is also one of those ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrency companies, and they were one of the first ones. I believe they were the first one ever to jump on board with this standard, and of course they would, considering, some may disagree with this, but considering they have been the chosen ones from the beginning. Which will eventually get me to the Bearable Guy Riddle, guys. Also just wanted to mention this real quick though from Bill. No one is saying that they want to see the SEC sue Ethereum. What people like John Deaton say is there should be an investigation about decisions made by Ethereum and Ripple by senior SEC officials. So this also, believe it or not, does speak to some of the points that I'm going to talk about with regards to the Bearable Guy Riddle. Facts about the conflicts of interest have been posted and not disputed. Now, this is coming after Ben Armstrong here posted this to the XRP Army. The XRP Army has been asking me to make some statements on ETHgate, so here is a thread. Some of you may agree with this, some of you may not, but these are my thoughts. If you need to catch up on the scandal/conspiracy theory, here is the link. And so he is essentially saying there have been no allegations. It's a conspiracy theory, and a small pool of early Ethereum insiders paid off the SEC officials to look the other way. The ICO was more centralized than it appeared due to an intentionally confusing web of wallet addresses, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go over Ben Armstrong's tweet thread, but I do think it is important to note that what his stance is on it. And so this was just the retort from Bill here on Twitter. You didn't address those facts. You can take the view, you take that assertions of involvement of Ethereum people as a conspiracy, but the conduct of the SEC officials need investigation. Don't believe me? Read the letter from Grunfest to Jay Clayton imploring him not to sue Ripple. So this is very loaded, and if you guys have not been following the case, I'm not going to jump into the entire situation in this video, but I'm sure a lot of you do know what this is all about. I also wanted to bring up this tweet from Tag XRP here on Twitter, BitBoy Crypto. We've shown you irrefutable proof. Here are disguised transactions from when? You guessed it, the Ethereum presale with absolutely no traceability. And he retweeted out his tweet from January 10th. What are these whale accounts and how did they get funded? I'm looking at these accounts below and can't figure out how they got funded. They all have around 100 transactions with 0 Ethereum input made around 127 days ago from different addresses and then nothing. Is there a bug that prevents tracking the origin of the funds? So, more information is being uncovered daily by, the Twitter sleuths like Tag XRP, like Stéphane Hubert, just to name a couple. And, there are many more out there. So some are saying that this was done intentionally so that Ethereum would succeed and that Ripple would fail. The American banking sector and guys like Gary Gensler intentionally trying to hold Ripple and XRP back while giving Ethereum a free pass. And so this brings me to this tweet thread here by Ripples at What's on Whales 1 here on Twitter, a very, very in-depth tweet thread about the Bearableguy123 Castle Riddle from back in 2018. So I want to give Ripples full credit here on this. A great tweet thread that we're going to go through right now. In this Bearable Guy thread, I thought we would go back to the start of this journey in 2018 and look at one of the first major Bearable Guy images, the castle. Although it's in the past, it has a huge bearing on what we are now and where we are going. It lays the foundations. And this is why I've also been referring back to this castle riddle time and time again when new Bearable Guy riddles are posted, and also when we see new developments with regards to the new financial system. Remember, I've always been of the opinion that the powers that be need to collapse the old system to build up a new system. And so, this image just rife with little tidbits of information that we're going to go over. Ripple's down here saying, so CKJ cracked part of the riddle back in the day. The castle is the Federal Reserve, we believe. And the king's domain, money printer, characters laid out for you, the knight, king, bear, or queen, and rook, government deep state arm. BG's early clues revolve around chess and the game of chess. The king has no mouth or tongue, as laid out in the early BG clue rules back in the day. The bear is referred to as the jester. That seems to be dependent on role in each image. Scepter is the king's power. Who is the king? An unseen and unspoken player in the world of finance. Some were suggesting that it was Augustin Carstens, I believe at a time, from the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements. But I think the king could actually represent a whole bunch of powers that be, perhaps a collective. A king was born without a tongue to share his future plans. The rule of power belongs to you. Who can break the scepter in his hands? The jester will laugh at those who mock and doubt his hidden works. For if you follow the eyes of the king, your wealth will match his worth. So the bear is also pointing to his teeth to tell you what month you should be keeping an eye on. All 4 sharp fangs can refer to the bear going wild, big green candlesticks, and price movements, NFA. The Castle Riddle was released back on April 1st, 2018. So Riddle, my teeth reveals the month we're in, but don't despair when you count to 10. And I don't know if you guys remember from way back then, 10, the month of October. Do not despair when we saw a bit of a downturn. I believe that was around that time. Just real quick, bringing the XRP chart up here on the monthly, and you guys can see, I mean, we were already in a bear market at that time, but this monthly candlestick right here represents October, the 10th month, and yeah, we did see a lot of downward pressure after a significant up month back in September of 2018, and if you guys remember, that was the time XRP pumped to over 75 cents. It was a pre-loaded XRP pump event because it was right before Swell 2018, and they were just about to announce the X Rapid product, which is now rebranded on-demand liquidity. So after that, we did see a bit of a down month. However, 2018 was essentially a bearish year. All right, but let's get back to this. Okay, so why is the bear in the Fed back in 2018? Well, it was foretelling you what was going to occur in 2020. Trump, genius plan to absorb the Fed into the Treasury undoubtedly has a lot to do with it. Ripple had worked their way into the inner sanctum of the financial world. So we have to put this into context. Ripple, throughout 2018, 2019, 2020, and even into today, Ripple has been partnering up with lots of different companies. Many of them were central banks, and a lot of those partnerships were central bank partnerships early on. So Ripple had been working on this. In chess, when you castle your king, it's a very defensive move. This shows the king was in trouble. Ripple had cornered the old kingdom and was changing the game from the inside out. Ripple was shaking the system as foretold. Pay attention to the consistent themes which reoccur in each of Bearableguy's riddles. They are the following: the colors of the flag. So you do remember the colors of the flags, the green for BTC, the purple for XRP, and the yellow for USD. All the characters and their attire. Government arm, perseverance, keep a close eye on bear's hat, king's crown as well. So all those things in the riddles that followed did change. In the castle picture, we can see BTC flag with the phoenix under it on the left. So here we have the phoenix and the BTC flag up here. If you guys remember, it is on the left-hand side. Here, let me just bring you up that BTC flag under the phoenix here. USD and the Ouroboros under it on the right tower. There seemed to be a plan to crash the fiat monetary system and for BTC to rise from the ashes. But a change occurred. Enter Ripple. So again, guys, this was all pre-pandemic. This was 2018. And the idea of a crashing fiat system, I mean, that was not on many people's radar. However, Bearableguy was on top of it from the beginning. The XRP flag is carried on a Roman legion flag that Julius Caesar carried while crossing the Rubicon. It represents a change in system, a momentum shift, and new order. The hook on the flag and the knight's shield represents hooks, a feature on the XRPL, which I solved back in 2021. So we know about the hooks protocol and how that news came out last year. Well, we can also see in here the hook on the X on Brad Garlinghouse, the knight's armor shield. The knight's armor is quite beaten and worn after many battles in the name of Ripple. Sword is in a defensive position across his chest to show Ripple and XRP are doing its best to fend off the king, shock-dazzling and wrench-throwing, slowing progress down. So there has been a battle. There has been several battles involving Ripple and the current system. This style of armor on the knight continues into the Christmas scene, which signifies the fight is still on. Think of the XRP SEC lawsuit against the deep state. Sorry, SEC. Speaking of DS, let's look at the arm out of the left tower and the string man suspended. So here's where it gets kind of interesting. The red mannequin was covered in codes on the arms and legs. And I remember at this time, a lot of people were trying to figure out what all these codes were. Just going to punch in on that. What all these codes were, and I think we had gotten some of them, but I don't think we ever got them all. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if there is an image that suggests what all these codes meant. It was cracked by some smart people in the community. The codes were the following: the IMF, the ECB, the Fed, etc. So I know those were a few: the International Monetary Fund, the European Central Bank, and the Federal Reserve, which were all controlled by the DS arm. In 2020, those strings were cut by the Trump administration. Genius moves. And again, guys, this riddle originally from 2018. How could Bearableguy know what was going to happen in 2020? The bear in the scene is playing the jester, which is also known as the fool in tarot, which signifies new beginnings and is one of the 22 major arcana cards. Well, you guys remember how significant the number 22 is. I did a video a few months ago about that number specifically, and I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner if you guys care to watch that. Has a lot of significance with regards to Ripple and XRP, the new financial system. It also signifies beginner's luck, spontaneity, and having faith in the future. The bear often shows his eyes closed, which can occur when a bear is hibernating. Winters, or maybe crypto winters, always keep a close tab on the bear's eyes. If the bear is wearing sunglasses or his pupils are small, it could signify a bright future. And boom. Not to mention this very, very obvious image of Bearableguy just from back last Christmas of 2021. Now he's wearing a tuxedo, clearly in a celebratory mode. So yeah, it probably signifies that there is a celebration to come. So let me just continue down here. So in 2020, this whole castle scene played out, and the necessary changes were made to the financial world by freeing it from the debt shackles the powers that be had put on us. The winds of change swept the globe. Money shall not be controlled by invisible hands moving in dark rooms. And if you guys remember, this was another Bearableguy riddle from back in 2018. That brings us to date with this image and its clues. I'm sure I've missed a few, but for the sakes of keeping it concise, I will keep this short. When it comes to these riddles, it's important to think like creators. They are undoubtedly cryptographers by trade. Cryptography is the security your favorite DAs are built on. Those same cryptographic systems are employed by Bearableguy123. They use a layer of clues in their stories to send across a message to you all. When you pull apart the constants in each image, it begins to unravel. Hope these threads are beginning to make a bit more sense. Now for you all, I did a Spaces a while back. I will find it in due course. The timelines are all fluid though, guys, with Bearableguy's work, and so no one can predict the exact timeline. And so, I'm sure a lot of us could not have foreseen the Ripple XRP lawsuit. That, I think, definitely did put the brakes on a little bit. Lastly, if any of you are feeling dejected about the lawsuit and whatnot, fear not. It's all playing out exactly how it's meant to. I'm super bullish beyond belief for Ripple and its plans for the global financial system. Hold those XRP tokens close as Elder Owls are prowling. And so Ripple's here just giving a shout out to some XRP community members. Tagging me in this tweet, I wanted to thank Ripple's here, a great tweet thread describing the Bearableguy castle imagery and how it relates to 2022. Let me also remind you just real quickly, this original Bearableguy riddle was posted back on April 1st, 2018. And as I was just mentioning at the top of the video, the 31st is this coming Thursday, which is tomorrow, and the last day of business for any banks that are not Basel III compliant. April 1st will be a new beginning. This is all going to come to a head, guys. The wheels are still in motion, and it's only a matter of time before we see extreme utility derived on the XRPL for the XRP token, which will send the price sky high. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.